Just Dire Things automated time fluid. Now, for this, you are going to need to have a few things automated already. That being the Blaze Gold. You need to have Blaze Gold already before we start this. And you're also going to need to have time crystals automated. I do have another video on how to automate the time crystals, so I will link that on screen now. So to get started with this, you are going to need to place down some water. Now to do that, you can do it in many different ways, but the way that we're going to do it is we're going to use a collector. I'm going to try and use as much stuff from Just Dire Things as I can. I will be using Mechanism for fluid transfer though. So we've got like the mech pipes right here, and I've got a tank. I'm also using Mechanism for the power in the middle there. I won't be going over power at all. I won't be going over Mechanism at all. This tutorial is purely on how to automate making the time fluid. So what the advanced fluid collector does, especially in this situation right here, where we've got like an infinite source of water in front of it. If you give it power, all it will do is it will suck up the water that's in front of it. In fact, what you can do is if you have a look at the rendered area, you can move this to like the middle of the ocean if you fancy. So let's move it like a load this way. So it will pull from that source block right there. Now, because it's infinite water, water will like fill back in so it can collect again. So that's one way to do it. Another way is if you've got a pack where you have infinite water, or in this case, we've got two types. We've got like the sink from cooking from blockheads. This always provides infinite water. And we've also got the eternal water block from Evilcraft. Very useful block that. You can place that down. In this situation, I want to use Just Dire Things. So we are going to use the collector. Now, what this will do is if we were to like use the configurator right now to pull the water out of the advanced fluid collector, it would put it into this advanced fluid placer. Now, these are the two different things. We've got a collector, which will pick stuff up, and we've got a placer, which will put stuff down. So in this situation, the water will end up right here. Unfortunately, if we run it right now, all it will do is it will fill up this tank over here. Now, we'll talk about that in a sec, but what we need to do right here is give these some filters. Now, what I want to do is if we go for Polymorphic fluid bucket. So we want to put that right here. Now, we need a deny list. So in fact, what we could do instead of having the polymorphic fluid bucket right there is we could put water, and we use the bucket of water in Just Dire Things. You don't use like water from Minecraft. You don't use that. Use the bucket version of it. Now that means that so if we put that on deny list for water, that means that water cannot go in this. So if I do this over here, the placer, because it got water in it, it will place into here. Now you can see this, this collector over here is pulling from that block over there. It looks really funny. It's off in the distance. Now you might think, well, what do we do now? Well, you have to, if we have a look at polymorphic, you have to make some of these polymorphic catalyst. So at the start of the episode, when I said you needed Blaze Gold automated, I also meant you needed the Nether Wart automated so you can make this stuff. Polymorphic catalyst. Really good stuff this. You can use it on some water, just like this. And it will be sucked up because if you'll remember, this over here is no longer water after that. So that means that this, with a deny list on water, can suck up the polymorphic fluid. I've got a pipe right here, which is pulling out of this advanced fluid collector. So what will happen is it will go into the tank that we've got right here. And this pipe here will pull out and put into this fluid placer. So you can see that right there, it actually placed, because this is a placer, it actually placed the polymorphic fluid right there. So basically you took it out from here and you placed it over there. Now over here, I've actually got a deny list on polymorphic fluid. So just like we've got over here with the water, we've got a deny list right there. We are doing the exact same thing again, but this time on the polymorphic fluid. Now, all you need to do is you need to take one of these time crystals and you throw it in and it turns it into time fluid. That is being picked up like this and going into the ultimate fluid tank right there. Now, I can pull out of the ultimate fluid tank just by right clicking with the wand. You can also put all of your time fluid back in if you need to for whatever reason. But yeah, we can do this a couple more times. We can do that over there. It'll come over to this one. And then I am just going to drop one in just like that. And that is going to fill this up over here. But yeah, the way that you would automate this is you would use a dropper or an advanced dropper from Just Dire Things to drop those items in. So in this case, it would be the polymorphic catalyst. And over here, it would be the time crystal. Let me go show you the version that I set up using Applied Energistics 2. Now, to talk about the recipes that I've got. In this recipe, we've got 1 bucket of polymorphic fluid is 1 bucket of water and 1 polymorphic catalyst. Now, the reason that I've got this right here, which is an ME ingredient buffer, you can also use a backpack with a tank upgrade on it. So that's sophisticated backpacks. So we take one of these tank upgrades and we open this up and we put it in. This has now got a tank and it's got a place for items. AE2 does this thing where it can only place to 1 inventory. So technically this would be 1 inventory. So if I shift right click, place that down, you can see there's a tank there. So the fluid will go into the tank right here and the items will go into the backpack. That's the same as the ingredient buffer. This can also take items and fluids. So we've got a mechanical pipe right here, which is pulling out of the ingredient buffer. And we've got a logistical transporter, which is handling items. So this is pulling fluids. This is pulling items. So when we send a bucket of water, it will fill up this with water, and then the water will be pulled out by the pipe. And it would also send a polymorphic catalyst, which I also have another recipe to make that for me in my Applied Energistics. So that will make a polymorphic catalyst. That catalyst will then be pulled out of the side here via the logistical transporter, and the item will be fed into the advanced dropper. Now, the same thing is happening over here, but instead of the bucket of water that we get right here, bucket of water and polymorphic catalyst, we have a bucket of polymorphic catalyst and a time crystal. So the fluid will get pulled out of this one right here and go into the placer. These two are both placers, by the way. So the fluid goes into the placer. So the polymorphic catalyst gets put right here. And the time crystal gets put in the advanced dropper, which drops it into place. And then the fluid collector will pick up all of the time fluid. And the time fluid is then pulled back into the system to complete the loop. But again, you can use the backpack. In fact, what I will do right now is I will show you by removing this and putting a backpack up there. It's got the same connections. Let's make some time fluid. So I'm actually going to stand back. I'm going to go like this. And what I'm going to do is order 10 buckets of time fluid. Now, it should make the polymorphic catalyst and the polymorphic fluid first. And then you'll see it be used over here with the time crystals. Start. And there we go. We got ourselves 10 more buckets of time fluid. We have 6,609 millibuckets worth of time fluid. I can actually click it on this and it goes up to 7,609 fluid. And I can click it again and then it becomes 8,000. So yeah, and you need this so you can use it for speeding things up. There's many ways to automate this. This is just the way that I've automated it. If you've got any better suggestions or any ways that you've been doing it, just stick them down in the comments. I'm sure someone will find them very, very useful. I did all of this in my All the Mods 10 Let's Play series. If you're interested in watching that, I will link the playlist in the description of this video. Let me know what tutorial you want to see next from Just Dire Things. Anyway, I think that's all we got time for. So cheers, bye.